All right, ready to dive into the world of wholesale merchants in flowers and plants. We're talking interview prep today, folks. Getting ready to make a great impression.
Definitely. It's a competitive field, and being ready is, well, key.
Couldn't agree more. We've got some awesome role catcher resources, so think of this deep dive as like your secret weapon.
Yeah, it's all about going beyond just answering questions. You got to stand out, show them what you've got.
Exactly. We're going to unpack those common interview questions, figure out what they really mean, and give you some killer strategies. So you're not just prepared, you're impressive.
You want them to see that passion for the industry,
Mhm.
Show you understand the market, that you can handle the pace.
Love it. Okay, before we get tactical, let's zoom out for a sec. What does a wholesale merchant actually do? I mean, we know it's flowers and plants, but what's the real deal?
Way more to it than people think. They're the bridge, right? Connecting the growers who nurture those amazing blooms with the retailers who, get them into our homes and events and all that.
Okay, so they're not just buying and selling. They're negotiating, managing inventory, knowing what's hot, what's not.
Absolutely. They're making sure everything flows smoothly from like field to vase, you could say.
I like that. Field to vase. Okay, so RoleCatcher's interview guide highlights 9 questions that pop up a lot. And these aren't just random, right? They're designed to reveal specific stuff about you.
You got to read between the lines, figure out what the interviewer is really trying to get at.
Exactly. Let's unpack a few, shall we? First one. Describe your experience in the flower and plant industry. Sounds simple, but what's the hidden agenda?
They're looking for proof. Proof you're not just jumping in blind. Have you worked in a shop, a nursery, landscaping, anything like that? Direct experience always helps.
So even if it's just like a weekend gig watering plants, that still counts.
Absolutely. It shows you've got a feel for it, for the products, the processes, the whole ecosystem. And don't discount personal passion either. If you've got that green thumb, if you volunteer at a botanical garden, that tells a story too.
Right, it's about that genuine enthusiasm. Okay, before we get to an example answer, what kind of follow-ups might they hit you with?
Oh, they might dig deeper on those experiences, ask about challenges you faced, what you learned, that kind of thing. Maybe even your favorite flower and why. You never know.
Be ready to go beyond the surface. Love it. Okay, here's a sample from the guide. I've always been fascinated by the world of flowers and plants. For the past year, I've volunteered at a local community garden, getting hands-on experience in plant care, propagation, and even basic landscaping. I've learned about different species, soil conditions, and the importance of sustainability. So, obviously make it your own story, but it's a solid framework.
And notice how it highlights skills too, right? Plant care means you know the product. Propagation hints at understanding growth cycles, sustainability. That's huge in the industry right now.
Connecting the dots for them. Smart. Okay, question 2. How do you stay up to date with current market trends and industry news? What's a real question here?
They want to see if you're proactive. Are you passively waiting for info, or are you out there actively seeking knowledge, wanting to be ahead of the game?
So I read articles online. Probably isn't going to cut it.
Right. You got to show that engagement, that you're informed and genuinely passionate about the flower and plant world.
How do you do that without sounding like a, industry robot?
Specificity. Talk about publications you actually follow, websites, even social media accounts, and explain how you actually use that information. Spotted any emerging trends, seen potential challenges, changed your own gardening because of new research. That's the good stuff.
So instead of, I read Floral Business Magazine, I could say, I've been following the discussions in floral business about sustainable packaging, and I'm wondering how that'll impact the wholesale market.
Now you're talking. Shows you're thinking critically, not just passively absorbing. And speaking of sustainability, that's only getting bigger. Consumers want eco-friendly, retailers need to adapt, so it's a big deal for anyone wanting to be a wholesale merchant.
Totally ties into those career insights from the career guide,
Right.
right? It's not just interview prep, it's valuable industry knowledge.
Exactly. And that genuine understanding, that's what makes you stand out.
Now, what about follow-ups on this one?
They could ask about a recent industry development, something that caught your eye, or challenge your take on a trend. Be ready for a real conversation, not just a rehearsed speech.
Right. It's your chance to let that passion shine.
Hmm.
All right, here's a sample from the guide. I'm a regular reader of Greenhouse Grower online and find their articles on new plant varieties particularly insightful. Recently, I learned about a new disease-resistant rose cultivar, and I'm curious to see how that impacts both growers and retailers. What do you think?
Solid. Specific source, specific example, shows you know the publications and how to apply that knowledge.
Okay, question 3 gets to the heart of the role. How do you manage relationships with suppliers? What's the underlying message?
Interpersonal skills for sure. Building rapport, understanding that this business thrives on strong relationships. Can you negotiate, communicate, handle conflicts with grace? That's what they want to see.
So, more than just getting the best price, it's about trust, long-term partnerships.
Exactly. The whole flower and plant industry runs on relationships. Suppliers need reliable buyers. Buyers need reliable suppliers. It's symbiotic, and the wholesale merchant is the link, making sure everyone benefits.
What kind of follow-ups might they ask here?
Ooh, they could get into conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Ask about a time you had to smooth things over with a supplier, or what you'd do if they couldn't meet your needs.
Maybe even ask about your negotiation style, the qualities you look for in a supplier.
Exactly. Show them you get the nuances of these relationships, that you can navigate them effectively.
Okay, here's a sample from the guide. I believe in building open and collaborative relationships with suppliers. I always start by clearly communicating our needs and actively listen to their concerns. I'm also proactive in addressing any issues that may arise and work towards solutions that benefit both parties. In a previous role, I was able to negotiate a new contract with a key supplier that resulted in a 10% cost saving, while also ensuring they had the resources to invest in more sustainable growing practices. Thoughts?
I like the emphasis on collaboration, finding those win-win solutions. Plus, bringing up sustainability again shows you're in tune with what matters today.
Okay, question 4 gets a bit more technical. Can you describe your experience in pricing and inventory management? What are they really digging into here?
The numbers, do you get the financial side? Can you analyze data, make smart pricing choices, manage that inventory so you minimize waste and, maximize profit?
Especially important with flowers and plants, right? They're perishable, demand fluctuates like crazy.
Totally. It's a delicate balance. Anticipate demand, adjust prices, have the right stock. It's a lot to juggle.
What kind of follow-ups might we see here?
Oh, they could ask about inventory software, how you'd forecast demand, what you do with excess inventory.
Pricing strategies, maybe? Or how you determine the sweet spot for pricing a product?
Yep, all about showing you can handle the nitty-gritty of the numbers.
Okay, sample time. In my previous role at a garden center, I assisted the manager with inventory tracking and ordering. I learned to analyze sales data to identify trends and anticipate future demand based on seasonality and upcoming events. I also implemented a new system for rotating stock to minimize waste, which resulted in a 15% reduction in losses due to spoilage.
Nice. Quantifying your impact with numbers, that's powerful. You're not just talking the talk, you're showing results.
And highlighting those tasks that might not be glamorous but make a huge difference, right? Like that stock rotation. Now, speaking of not so glamorous, the career guide mentions wholesale merchants often have to get their hands dirty, literally.
Right. Inspecting shipments, unloading trucks, even helping with basic plant care in the warehouse.
It's not just about spreadsheets, it's about the whole operation.
Oh.
All right, question 5. Can you describe your experience in managing a team? Now, not every wholesale merchant role is about managing people, so what's the point of this one?
It's about those core leadership skills, no matter your title. Can you motivate others, delegate, give good feedback? That stuff matters in any role, but especially in this fast-paced world.
So even if I haven't been the boss, I can still draw on times when I've taken charge, mentored someone, or led a project, right?
Exactly. Think about those times you stepped up, whether it was a school project, volunteering, even a part-time gig. Show those leadership qualities no matter the context.
Follow-ups. What might they throw at us?
They could ask about your leadership style, a tricky situation with a team member, how you handle conflicts.
Or even describe a time you had to, rally the troops to hit a tough goal, or what you'd do if 2 members weren't clicking.
Exactly. Be ready to show them you can handle the people side of things.
Okay, here's a sample from the guide. While I haven't had formal management experience, I've always enjoyed taking on leadership roles. In my previous job at a local florist, I mentored a new employee, helping them learn the ropes and develop their customer service skills. I also led a project to streamline our online ordering process, which resulted in a 20% increase in online sales.
See, highlighting both mentoring and project leadership, that's a good mix. And again, quantifying that impact, 20% increase, boom, you get it.
And speaking of measurable results, the career guide emphasizes tracking those key performance indicators, right?
Yeah.
Sales volume, profit margins, all that good stuff.
It's a data-driven industry, no doubt. Those who can analyze and use that data, they'll do well.
All right, question 6. How do you prioritize tasks and manage your workload? What's the hidden message here?
Organization, time management. Can you stay cool under pressure? This industry, it's all about deadlines, last-minute orders, things changing constantly. You got to be able to juggle.
More than just a to-do list, right? It's knowing how to prioritize, delegate, and roll with the punches.
For sure. They want to see you can handle the heat, stay organized, and still deliver.
Follow-up questions. What might they ask?
Oh, maybe about a time you faced competing deadlines, how you'd handle a sudden workload increase.
Your favorite time management tools, maybe? Or how you avoid distractions when things get crazy?
Yep, all about showcasing those organizational superpowers.
Okay, sample answer time. I'm a highly organized person, and I thrive in fast-paced environments. I use a combination of digital and physical tools to manage my workload, including a task management app, a color-coded calendar, and a good old-fashioned notepad for jotting down quick ideas and reminders. I prioritize tasks based on deadlines and urgency, and I regularly review my progress to ensure I'm on track. When faced with unexpected challenges, I take a deep breath, reassess my priorities, and adjust my schedule as needed.
Love the process. Clearly laid out, shows you can adapt, and you're not stuck on just one method. You use what works.
Now remember, even with these questions, the bigger picture matters. The career guide highlights that wholesale merchants often work long, kind of crazy hours, especially during busy seasons or big events.
It's demanding, no doubt. You got to be dedicated, flexible, and truly love the work.
Okay, question 7. How do you handle difficult customers or suppliers? What's the real test here?
Emotional intelligence. Conflict resolution. Can you stay calm, professional, even when things get tense? It happens, right? Disagreements are inevitable, so how you handle them is key.
So it's not about avoiding conflict altogether, it's knowing how to navigate those tough conversations.
Right. Empathy, communication, finding that balance between being assertive and diplomatic.
Potential follow-up questions.
They could ask for a specific example, how you handle disagreements, your approach to feedback, that kind of thing.
Maybe even a hypothetical situation. See how you'd handle it on the spot.
Keep you on your toes.
All right, sample response. I believe in approaching difficult situations with empathy and understanding. I always try to actively listen to the other person's perspective, acknowledge their concerns, and identify the root cause of the problem. Then, I focus on finding a solution that addresses those concerns while also meeting our business needs. For example, when a customer was unhappy with the quality of a recent shipment, I took the time to listen to their concerns, apologize for the inconvenience, and offered them a replacement shipment at no additional cost. I then followed up with the supplier to discuss the quality control issue and ensure it wouldn't happen again.
Perfect example of balancing customer satisfaction with holding suppliers accountable. You manage that tricky situation like a pro.
And again, it all comes back to those strong relationships, right? Customers, suppliers, colleagues, communication is key.
This is a people business, after all. Those interpersonal skills, they're just as crucial as the technical stuff.
All right, question 8. Can you describe your experience in marketing and promoting products? Now, this might not seem like a core wholesale merchant thing, but what are they getting at?
They're looking beyond the buy and sell. Do you see the bigger picture? Generating demand, reaching new customers, helping the business grow. A wholesale merchant might not be running campaigns, but they should understand the basics and how their role fits in.
So even if I haven't been like designing brochures or anything, I can still talk about times when I've had to present information well, communicate value, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Think about times you had to sell an idea, a project, even yourself. Ever given a presentation, written a persuasive essay, convinced a friend to try something new? That's all marketing, even if you didn't call it that.
And what about follow-ups? What might they ask?
Oh, they could ask about a successful campaign you've seen, your ideas for promoting flowers and plants, your understanding of different marketing channels.
Maybe brainstorm a strategy for a new flower, or how you'd use social media to reach new customers.
It's about showing you've got that marketing mindset, even if your experience is in other areas.
All right, here's the sample from the guide. While my experience has primarily been in sales and operations, I've always been interested in the marketing side of the business. I've followed industry trends in social media marketing and content creation, and I believe there's a lot of potential to reach new customers through visually appealing content that showcases the beauty and versatility of flowers and plants. I'm also interested in exploring how we can use data analytics to target specific customer segments with personalized offers and promotions.
Love it. Acknowledges limited experience but still shows interest and understanding. And mentioning data analytics, smart move, shows you're thinking about how technology is changing things.
Speaking of tech, The career guide mentions some wholesale merchants are using virtual reality to show off their products.
It's wild. Put on a headset, boom, you're in a field of tulips. A whole new way to experience the beauty of it all.
Pretty cool. Okay, last question in this set. Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult business decision? Seems pretty broad. What are they really looking for?
Judgment. Problem solving. Can you handle the pressure of making tough calls? Can you analyze, weigh options, and decide what's best for the business, even if it's not the easy choice? And can you explain your reasoning clearly and confidently?
So it's not about always being right. It's about how you think, how you approach those tough situations.
Exactly. Show them that decision-making process, how you evaluate risk, and that you own your choices.
What about follow-up questions on this one?
They could ask about the outcome, what you learned, whether you do anything differently looking back.
Maybe even a hypothetical situation. Walk them through your thought process.
It's all about seeing how you think on your feet.
Okay, sample response. In my previous role at a garden center, I was responsible for ordering plants for our spring sale. We had a particularly popular variety of hydrangea that was in high demand, but the supplier suddenly informed us that they couldn't fulfill our entire order due to unexpected weather damage. I had to quickly assess the situation, weigh my options, and make a decision that would minimize losses while still meeting customer expectations. After researching alternative suppliers and analyzing our sales data, I decided to reduce our order for the hydrangea and allocate those funds to order a similar variety from a different supplier. This allowed us to meet most of the customer demand while minimizing our financial risk.
There you go. Problem, process, reasoning, and positive outcome. You nailed it.
And it highlights that adaptability, the problem solving that's so crucial in this industry, right? Unexpected stuff happens all the time.
Totally. Whether supply chain issues, changing tastes, you got to be able to roll with it.
So there we have it, 9 common interview questions for wholesale merchants in flowers and plants decoded.
But remember.
There's more.
Oh yeah, there's always more. Mastering the questions is just the start.
Right. There's more to it than just knowing the answers.
It's how you deliver them. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in.
Okay, tell me more. How can AI help with, the human element of an interview?
Well, think of it as your personal interview coach. It goes way beyond the generic advice you get from, those standard prep websites. This is tailored feedback, specific to the company and the job.
Hold on. It's giving feedback based on the actual company.
Exactly. So imagine this. You've practiced your answers, maybe even done some mock interviews, but you still want that extra edge, that reassurance that you're hitting the right notes. You record yourself answering those tough questions, and RoleCatcher's AI analyzes everything. Your content, your tone, even your body language.
Wow, it's like having a whole panel of interviewers analyzing my every move.
It is. But in a good way. It's about spotting those subtle things that can make a difference. Maybe you're using too much jargon or not making enough eye contact or fidgeting. RoleCatcher picks up on it all and gives you concrete suggestions for improvement.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does it know what those specific companies are looking for? That seems almost impossible.
It's all about the data. RoleCatcher has access to a huge database of career information, thousands of career guides, online resources, employer records. It analyzes job descriptions, figures out the key skills, even predicts the kind of questions you're likely to get.
So it's like having a team of career experts and data analysts working for you, all powered by AI. Pretty powerful stuff.
It's constantly learning, too, getting smarter with every user, so the feedback is only getting more personalized and effective.
Okay, I'm sold on the AI aspect. Let's shift gears for a second and talk about career paths. What are some possibilities for someone starting out as a wholesale merchant?
Lots of options. Some folks specialize, They become the rose expert, the orchid guru, the succulent master. They work closely with specific growers and retailers, really know their niche.
Kind of like a sommelier, but for flowers.
Exactly. Others move into management, leading sales teams, handling big accounts, even running whole operations.
And some even become entrepreneurs, right? Starting their own businesses, finding unique plants, building their brands. The career guide actually mentions a few people who did just that, going from wholesale merchant to owning successful businesses in, floral design, event planning, even sustainable gardening.
It's a field where you can really grow both within a company and by branching out on your own. The key is play to your strengths, follow your passions, and never stop learning.
Love that. Okay, before we wrap up this section, I want to touch on something we mentioned earlier, sustainability. The career guide makes it clear that this is a huge trend, right?
Absolutely, and it's impacting everything from how things are grown to how they're packaged and transported.
Consumers are demanding eco-friendly practices, and retailers are listening.
Right. They're looking for suppliers who are doing things the right way. Organic growing methods, water conservation, minimizing waste, using sustainable packaging.
And even thinking about the environmental cost of transportation.
Exactly. Sourcing locally is becoming more and more important. It's better for the planet and it supports local economies. So it's a win-win.
It's not just about being ethical, it's about smart business. Consumers are willing to pay more for sustainable products.
They are, and that's why it's so crucial to stay up to date on all these trends, sustainability, e-commerce, new plant varieties. It's constantly changing.
Adaptability is key. Those who are learning and evolving, they're the ones who will thrive in this industry.
It's a dynamic field, that's for sure. Keeps things interesting.
Which is a good thing, right? Keeps you on your toes. But there's something else we should talk about, something the career guide mentions that I think is super important, but people often forget.
Okay, what is it? Spill the beans.
Portfolios. Especially if you're new to the industry, a portfolio can be a game changer. Think of it like your Floral resume, a way to show off your passion and skills, even if you don't have tons of experience.
Right. A visual representation of what you can do. You can include photos of your work, like beautiful arrangements, garden designs, even just a really well cared for houseplant collection.
It's about showing that eye for detail, your plant knowledge, your ability to create something stunning.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be just pictures, right? You can include written stuff too. Articles, research, blog posts about your own gardening adventures.
Absolutely. Show off your knowledge, your curiosity, how well you can communicate about the plant world. And don't forget testimonials. If you've done freelance work or volunteer projects, ask those happy clients for a few words about you.
It all adds up, builds credibility, shows you're dedicated and can deliver. Speaking of delivering, let's talk about the rewards of this career. I mean, it can't be all spreadsheets and logistics, right?
Definitely not. One of the best things about this job is working with something that brings so much joy to people. Flowers and plants, they just make people happy.
Imagine walking into a room filled with lilies and roses and orchids. Instant mood lift.
And knowing you played a part in getting those flowers there, that you were part of that chain of beauty and happiness, it's a pretty special feeling.
It's like you're a behind-the-scenes artist, making those moments of floral magic happen. And the career guide also mentions that there can be some cool travel opportunities too, right?
Oh, yeah. You might visit growers in different regions, go to industry events, even travel internationally to find those unique plants.
Imagine exploring the tulip fields in Holland, or the rose gardens in France, or those incredible orchid nurseries in Thailand.
It's amazing. You combine your passion for plants with travel and adventure, and you learn so much along the way.
Different growing methods, cultural traditions, new trends. It's a global botanical adventure, all while building your career. Okay, we've covered a lot today, but let's recap some key takeaways, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Hit me with those highlights.
Passion is number one. This is a competitive field, but if you genuinely love what you do, it'll show. Second, never stop learning. The industry's always changing, so be curious, keep up with trends. And third, embrace technology. AI, virtual reality, it's all changing the game.
All great points. And I'd add one more. Build relationships. Suppliers, customers, colleagues, mentors, those connections are priceless. This industry, it's a community, and those who thrive are the ones who collaborate and support each other.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as you head out there to pursue this amazing career, remember to be yourself, let that passion shine through, and never lose sight of why you fell in love with flowers and plants in the first place. And hey, maybe someday we'll be featuring your success story on a future deep dive.
Now that's something to strive for.
Until then, happy growing.